I'm a Ron Paul lover, you guys know that. And they said only, you're saying 2 million. I'm going to play devil's advocate here. So people, 2 million people voted for Ron Paul, and they said that wasn't even 1% of the population. So you're saying you had this big uprising in D.C., 2 million. That's only 1% of the population.
Let me put
so
it
are they really scared?
Let me put it to you this way, and they will admit this. I'd like to get their true facts back again on their statistics, how they rate this. But they say when one person writes an email, it represents so many voters.
Okay.
When one person makes a phone call, it represents even that many more, maybe 100 people. When one person goes one-on-one and goes to the office and talks to them in person, that represents even more. When somebody takes the effort on their own dime, nobody paid us like Acorn to go, and go to Washington and make our voice heard. No.
Oh, you know those nasty insurance companies paid us all. That's what they keep saying.
We forked out our own money. We went there on our own time, and we made our voice heard to those people in D.C., whether they want to admit it or not.
And they're not.
And the mob that we are,
they know.
The terrorists and mobs that we are, not one arrest.
Not one arrest. 2.5 million people, not one arrest.
Everybody was peaceful?
Everybody was peaceful. Everybody helped one another. They helped carry wheelchairs up and down steps.
Oh, yeah.
They'd all get together. I mean, I watched.
Actually, I did hear there was one confrontation, but ironically, I think it was an Acorn group.
It was an Acorn group. Oh, I got to tell you. I
did hear that in the news.
I got to tell you this. No, what happened was there was an Acorn people that tried to infiltrate and sell some flags and stuff, and then kind of push their own propaganda. Well, when we found out about it, they were told to leave, and the police told them to leave. They actually went out, made a circle, came back around again. So they actually had to be escorted out of the crowd. They were starting to get loud and boisterous and physical and, and all that. So the only physical, thing that was out of kilter was with the Acorn.
And to put this in perspective, we just had, when this airs, the G20 has been done. And we've seen that all over the news for days now.
Oh, yeah.
And they have, I've read, I'm not there, so I always try, but I've heard that there's no more than 1,200 to 1,500 protesters at this event.
Yeah.
And look at what they've done. And you're saying 2 million people.
Well, listen, 2.5 million people. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. I want to really show a difference. If you've seen a picture of after Obama's inaugural, thing, I mean, the streets were filthy, trash. I mean, it shows the mentality of the people there. When we left D.C., and there's some pictures in there, it was clean.
We picked up our trash.
Pictures we have. Do we have? I don't know if she can get to those if she knows what we're talking.
But it was as clean when we left as when we came.
Yes.
And
we picked up all our
trash. And I actually did hear, so you would have had even more people. I heard they had to turn buses away because the streets got so packed.
They did.
They turned buses around and said we can't have any more people in Washington.
That's what I'm saying. So do you think that would have shut down with a few thousand people? No. We had 2.5 million
I'm just sad, not even if it was a few thousand. I'm just sad that we've gotten to the point where I didn't get to see it on the news, what people were doing, whether I agree or disagree. And of course I agree. I should have been able to see what you guys were doing.
Absolutely.
And I know, I asked
But doesn't that prove, if once and for all, doesn't that prove how biased our media is? When you can have 2.5 million people march on Washington, D.C., when there's so many people that Washington, D.C. is shut down, and they don't even have it
I've asked friends that are not political like us, I said, did you see about the march? And they're like, what march? And that made me sad. Because, like I said, whether they agree or not, they should at least know that there are Americans, because maybe they'll understand what we're fighting for. It's not against health care. It's not against...
Well, can I just say one thing? You guys, listen to me here. Either you got to watch Fort Wayne Access to get the news.
Right.
Or YouTube. Or Fox News. One of the two.
Or you can watch us on YouTube.
Or YouTube, yeah.
So what did you think when you got home? Did it rejuvenate you?
Oh my God. Yes, because we've been at this for so long, and you get kind of run down and wore out. And
we don't have anybody calling and writing.
Right, and frustrated with it. but I really felt renewed in my faith in people. Really, it was great. I know Gary just gets really tired of me blah 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 about it, but I'm so excited about it. And when
favorite part? You're so excited. I feel the energy from you guys.
When I walked down Pennsylvania Avenue, I bawled like a baby.
Oh.
I was so emotional over it. And
because you got all these people that were with you.
All these people, and just the energy around you, and everybody, like I said, everybody was so kind to each other, and it just like I
showed what American was supposed to be like.
What Americans could be like, and how they would help each other. And and they're calling us mobs and terrorists and stuff, our groups and stuff. No, I mean, my God, it just it renewed my faith in the movement. And now I'm
and the movement, people need to understand, it's not that we're against these things. It's that we're against the government doing these things. We can do most of these things. If you're not an adult, I guess maybe not. But we feel we're adults. We have a common sense.
Can I clarify something, though? Because this was asked to me, too. And this was from, I think, a Glenn Beck.
I also want to see, do we have the video of Christine on Glenn Beck? We don't.
Okay.
We're going to have to get that.
This is what they asked me.
She was on Glenn Beck?
And they asked me why I came, and and he says, well, are you anti-government? Are you anti-Obama? What are you? And I told him, I said, no. I said, we're pro-government, but we're pro-government in the right way. I mean, where the people rule. And what I mean by that, and I stopped and I fell short, because we, the people, made the federal government. So the government is of, by, and for the people. It's of the people. The government is us, and we have to get that concept in our mind. It isn't the government is over here and we're over here. We are the government. The federal government was designed for a very specific reason. It was a very limited jurisdiction, and one of the main things was to help protect our rights. That was the main thing, and now they've taken it way out.
And they're not doing that. A government big enough to give you everything away, give you everything you want, is big enough to take everything away.
So here's the thing: if we created the federal government, we can uncreate the federal government.